First and foremost, I give all praises and thanks to the Most High, the Creator of the heavens and the earth, the seas, and the fullness thereof, and appreciation to His powers, for all powers belongs to the Most High. Today, I would like to speak following the topic titled Focus Strictly on the Laws, Statutes, and Commandments of the Most High. Focus strictly on the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So I'm doing a continuation, so we can call this a part 2. Today, I would like us to look into 1 Kings chapter 25 in the Brenton Septuagint translation, which is 1 Samuel chapter 25 in the KJV. So we're just going to look at the story, and then on the most part, I'll leave you to judge for yourself, for your conscience, for your own conscience, that the Most High, the Creator, has given you to, and the mind, the brain that He has given you to reason, And my favorite scripture is Isaiah chapter 1 verse 18. The Most High calling us to reason with Him. And the whole point is calling us to do this is to cleanse us from our iniquities, from our sins, from things that are enemies of life. You see? All right. I'll read from verse 1. And Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and bewailed him, and they buried him in his house in Amathim. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Mahon. So mind you, David was already anointed to be king of Israel by the prophet Samuel, and to take the place of Saul. Right? So I'll read verse 2. And there was a man in Mahon, and his flocks were in Carmel, and he was a very great man, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 she-goats. And he happened to be sharing his flock in Carmel. And the man's name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. And his wife was of good understanding and very beautiful in person. But the man was harsh and evil in his doings. So take note of this. This man has been described to be a man from a place known as Mahon. He was a great man, wealthy man, and he had a wife called Abigail. And his wife was being described as a wife of good understanding, very beautiful in person. But the man which is her husband, was harsh and evil in his doings, and the man was churlish. All right. So basically, he's been described as an horrible man, basically. So now let's read further and see what makes him an horrible man and what makes Abigail, his wife, with so much understanding and very beautiful. We read verse 4. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal the Carmelite was sharing his sheep. And David sent 10 young men, and he said to the young men, Go up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and ask him in my name how he is. And thus shall ye say, May thou and thy house seasonably prosper, and all thine be in prosperity. So here is David, who heard that while he was in the wilderness, that Nabal, the Carmelite, was sharing his sheep. Yeah. And then David sent 10 young men, so which was David's servants, and he said to the young men, Go up to Carmel, so to this place, and go to Nabal and ask him in my name how he is. So he's telling them to go and meet this wealthy man and greet him. Yeah. And to say these following words, that to say to him that may thou and the house seasonably prosper, and all thine be in prosperity. So good words, yeah, to him. Verse 7, and now, behold, I have heard that thy shepherds who were with us in the wilderness are sharing thy sheep, and we hindered them not. So basically, David is telling his servant to go to this man, this wealthy man. So he sent his servant, he sent this young man on errand to go to this wealthy man and say these words to this wealthy man. So now is after greeting him, after saying kind words to him, the next thing in verse 7 is to remind him that he said, now behold, I have heard that thy shepherds who were with us in the wilderness are sharing thy sheep, and we hindered them not. So he's saying that basically they should tell him that this wealthy man's shepherd, his boys, are sharing the sheep of this wealthy man, and basically they've not. So it's to make him know that they never hindered them from doing so. Basically, they did not hinder his shepherds from sharing his sheep. So these are the words being said to this wealthy man by the servants of David. Neither did we demand anything from them all the time they were in Carmel. So basically, it's also saying that they never, all the time they were in the place where his boys, where the wealthy man's boys were working, that they never demanded anything from them. Neither did they obstruct what they were doing. So verse 8 now, ask thy servants, and they will tell thee, let then thy servants find grace in thy eyes. So he's saying that even his servants will bear witness that they never obstructed their job, neither did they make any demands from them, and that he should ask his servants. So the wealthy man now should ask his servants, and they will confirm that what he has said through his own servant, what David has said through David's own servants. Yeah. Went further, he said, let then thy servants find grace in thy eyes, for we are come. So he's referring now to himself. So David is referring now to himself and his boys as his servants, as the man's servants, right? Find grace in thy eyes, for we are come on a good day. Give, we pray thee, whatsoever that and may find to thy son David. All right. So, you see, this is a situation that I myself have witnessed in my lifetime so far. I have witnessed a group of people who are the best English word to describe them. They are called extortioners. They're extortionists. So how they do this is that they hold claim of an area or region or territory, and they hold this claim of authority over this place outside unlawful, I'm going to say outside the law, basically, on an unlawful claim. And they will literally go to a shop in the area, like you're a businessman or a businesswoman dealing on business in their area, or in the area where they control, like thugs, basically, you can call them. And then they will go to this shop and demand for things. And they do it in the same manner, exactly in the same manner. They will come nicely, come sweetly, come gently, come politely, and now start demanding for things. And if you don't give them what they're demanding for, you will be in trouble. And these are called extortioners. So now we're seeing literally David, supposedly an anointed king, behaving in the same manner. So you go to a man, come across very polite, but in actual sense, you're demanding for things. You're not begging. You're demanding. You come across like you're begging, but you're demanding, because once Well, we'll be reading further, and I'm able to speak this way because I've read this chapter, and this is why I'm bringing it out today and leave it for you. Why as a teacher, but I leave it for you to reason with the Most High and get your cleansing from your iniquities, from your narcissism or narcissist, from your wickedness, from your unrighteousness, from your unholiness, from your evils, from your darkness, from your madness. But so I'm sharing this because I have at first hand experienced this sort of situation, so I can relate with it. I'm in a position to speak on this and about this. And I can tell you right now that the Most High never gave such commandments to any man, not even to his servants, to perform not such commandments. He is just. So let's take this story to the case of Ahab, the king Ahab, whose wife was Jezebel, right? You see that story of that man, the poor man, or the man, let's just not use poor, but is a man who had his father's land, the land he inherited from his father, right? And the king desired that land. And he responded to the king that he could not sell the land, or he could not do away with the land, because that is his inheritance from his father, and which was probably the only land he had. Then Jezebel, the wife of Ahab, made sure she did everything she could to support her husband, which was the king, then to take over that land by murdering the man, right? You see the judgment, the wrath the Most High had on Ahab and Jezebel for that behavior, for that wickedness, for that extortion, for that crime that they committed. So now you want to tell me that the same Most High said no? Well, even though Ahab was an anointed king, and the Most High did not respect persons in that regard when it came to judgment, as he has shown over and over again. But then he is now respecting persons when it came to another anointed king, David. Think. Because what I'm trying to bring out here is that I think it is pure to acknowledge the Most High, the Creator, the Giver of life, and submit to do His will. That even our own conscience that He is giving us, and the mind, the brain He is giving us, can definitely tell that this is good, this is profitable, this is true, this is from the Most High. His laws, His statutes, His commandments. That is in the safest position to be in, and function as you ought to function. If you're a male, function as a male. As a female, function as a female. As the Most High, who created us and gave life to us, intend us to be, right? Do righteously, because knowing that we will reap what we sow. So if you choose wickedness, you will definitely reap wickedness. If you choose righteousness, you will reap righteousness. If you choose to be cunning and deceitful and lie and not be truthful, you will reap the same. If you choose to be truthful, you will reap the same. The Most High does not respect persons when it comes to judgment. So that is the safest position to be. Because some of these stories, has been a cover up for a lot of terrible criminals, terrible creatures on this earth, under heaven, under the sky, who would use this story as a staff of authority to perpetrate narcissist, wicked behaviors. And this particular group of persons or people, do nothing but to steal, kill, and destroy. And they will definitely use the Most High to justify their actions. They will put down their brother so that they can go above their brother and take their brother's possessions. Take his wife, take this. They will do these things. they will pull down their sister so that they can go above their sister and possess their sister's possession in the name of the Most High. And this is why, as for we who the Most High has given level of sanity, in giving knowledge, understanding, and wisdom and insight to, of a good conscience, then we must defend against this gracious and fight when needs be, a good fight, so that sanity can be restored again amongst man. Righteousness, truth, justice can be restored again amongst men. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this is it. All right. I apologize for digressing in respect to reading the scriptures, but I just had to say that what I needed to say before, so that I don't forget. Verse 9. So the servants come and speak these words to Nabal according to all these words in the name of David. And Nabal sprang up and answered the servants of David and said, who is David? So he's asking the servants question. And who is the son of Jesse? Question. Nowadays, there is abundance of servants who depart everyone from his master. Yeah, that is a comment he's making now. Because basically he's responding to the cheekiness of these people, very cheeky. And even according to the scripture, the possession that the Most High gave you, is your possession. And you are obliged by the Most High and encouraged to help the poor and needy. Not exactly those who have it, not the greedy dogs, but to actually help the poor and needy. Watch and see. Greedy dogs who have, but they just keep wanting more and wanting more, even up to the extent of other people's sweat. And if you don't give them, then they put a death warrant or penalty on your head. And shall I take my bread and my wine and my beast that I have slain for my sharers, and shall I give them to men of whom I know not whence they are? Question. So the servants of David turned back and returned and came and reported to David according to these words. And David said to his men, guard on every man his sword. And they went up after David, about 400 men, and 200 abode with the stuff. So you can see the behavior. So exactly what I have witnessed. That's exactly what it is. So basically, it would have been more sincere and honest for him to come the way he went, David and his men went later. It would have been very sincere and honest and much respected if he had come outrightly to do that from the start, rather than to be so cheeky, pretending to be at peace, when really and truly you're not at peace. Because if what you ask for is not given to you, just like an armed robber, you're not going to let it be. So how long would we encourage behaviors like this, or use this as a yardstick for righteousness? Indeed, it's not righteous. Even my conscience that the Most High gave me and gave to man, my brain can look at this and know it's not righteous. Every man's possession is theirs. If they give you, it's their choice. And it's their dealings between themselves and their maker. If they don't give you, it's their choice. It is all right. It is their sweat. They worked for it. It is their possession. It is their portion. And the laws of the Most High support that 100%. If it was a poor man that came begging and he refuses, then I would say, okay, yes, indeed, we can discern from the law, statutes, and commandments and righteous judgment of the Most High that the man is really wicked. Because you can't see someone suffering. But not a man with servants that is wealthy enough to have servants and send servants to you and be cheeky like that. Or come to you and want to forcefully request for anything. Okay, so this, mind you, just note, this is the reason why Nabal was referred to as a mean, horrible, terrible, wicked man. And you read this, And if you're not careful, if you do not have the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that the Most High gives, His laws, statutes, and commandments, and righteous judgment, you will not be able to identify or discern what really is going on here. To identify that, as a matter of fact, is the opposite. From in this story, the direct opposite is the case. So that is exactly what is going on. Verse 14, and one of the servants reported to Abigail, the wife of Nabal, saying, behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our Lord, but he turned away from them. So the man's servants now is reported to the man's wife, that David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute their master, but he turned away from them, that he did not obviously meet what they came for, basically. Did not give them what they came for. So this is what they're telling his wife. So now there is an out of order behavior at the first place. So your master had a dealings with the servants of another master, and you are reporting to his wife, to your mistress, reporting your master to his mistress. Out of order behavior. But let's just see it like that. All right, it's all right. It's okay. And doing so even in the absence of their master. But let's take it for what it is as for now and say, okay, fair enough. No hard feelings. They're doing what they do. But let's see what happened. Verse 15. And the men were very good to us. They did not hinder us, neither did they demand from us anything all the days that we were with them. All right. So let's get this right. So these servants, they are working in the land or the portion of land that obviously would have been a place owned by the wealthy man, or a place that rented, or a place that basically they knew they were lawfully allowed to share their sheep, right? So just because they were doing it by the king, David, and his men, I mean, mind you, the duty or responsibility of a king watching over affairs of land is to make sure that the place is actually safe and conducive for the people, for his people. So that is his responsibility. That is the duty. And if he feels that basically their duties demand payment, needed payment, it should have been something that will be put as a law, like taxes. People will be taxed. And I tell you that wealthy man will pay taxes. He has no choice. No matter how tough you are, there comes to certain levels where you kind of leave that aside and do what the norms, do what you must do. So definitely would have paid tax if it was a law in the land. But it wasn't. This was an unlawful behavior. And this is, if unlawfulness was allowed amongst man and not checked, this world would have been much terrible than the way it is now. So that is exactly, that terribleness is what David and his men are manifesting, and what the servants of the wealthy man is buying into, including the wife of the wealthy man, is buying into this whole mess, absolute mess. So that is the thought process of the man's servant, that they felt that they're supposed to settle the king and the servants because they did what was their core responsibility to do. So if you wanted taxes, you don't tax just one man. It will be lawful you impose taxes on everyone. That the land is yours because you're the anointed king. And because the land is yours, you can do whatever you want. But however, you can't do things against the Most High who anointed you. So this is the thing. So the Most High who anointed you has set laws, statutes, and commandments that he has given as a constitution to his people. So now you as a king will represent the constitution cannot go against the constitution that you represent and that you uphold. So this is the whole nonsense of the corruption we see in the world today. The bribing, the corruption, the whole mess, the whole strange entitlement that some people feel, that leads to criminality and all sorts of mess that really needs to be checked and stopped. Otherwise, we're looking to no future at all. Verse 16. And when we were in the field, they were as a wall round about us. Yeah, this came both by night and by day. All the days that we were with them feeding the flock. So you see, mind you, what this wealthy man's servants is telling the wife of the wealthy man, Abigail. First of all, it's the responsibility of the king to do so. And then secondly, the wealthy man and his boys never asked these people to do what they did. If they did what they did, then eventually it will be recognized. It will be recognized in sin eventually if allowed, because except it's a law. If it's not a law, then if allowed over time, it will be recognized and sin and rewarded. But no, they want to force it. And they want to force it on someone that he never employed you to do that. And I believe strongly that his servants, the wealthy man's servants, were capable enough to do the job and also ensure that they are all right. So it's not like a thing where it was a set law within the constitution that, well, we ensure that you're protected and then you have to at least, compensate or pay taxes. No, you by your own self said, okay, I'm going to make sure these people are safe working in this area. And you by your own self, you're asking for payment. Come on now. And then if the person chooses not to, then you're forcefully going to get it for something, a contract, something that was not agreed upon at the first place. It doesn't work like that. If a stranger come to my area to work and I feel that I own that area and I own that territory, if I never communicated with this stranger that, look, and it's not a lawful known constitution, something laid out already that everyone knows and is of justice, that this is how it goes and everyone is involved. Then, if that is not the case, then of what position I'm in to say, okay, yeah, because when I saw the stranger, I make sure that, okay, all those bad boys in the area didn't touch the stranger. When I never communicated with the stranger is not even aware that I'm even doing all that. So I've done it out of my own goodwill, if I'm even a good person. But then suddenly, something that was meant for goodwill is now becoming evil. So, and this is just showing that if there was no lawfulness, laws and order in a society, this is the type of characters and behavior. There's the type of things we would literally be experiencing and which leaves us with no future of existence. To be very honest. And this is it. 19, verse 19. No, sorry. I think I'm in the same. Verse 17, sorry. And now do thou consider and see what thou would do, for mischief is determined against our Lord. So they're saying to his wife that mischief is determined against their master and against his house, and he is a vile character, and one cannot speak to him. So the servants have the audacity to be talking to the wife. And no, what this reflects really just shows the type of relationship that his wife has with him, like the type of relationship the husband and wife have, because no one would dare come to me and insult my wife, to my face, right? So, but obviously that liberty, and it just reveals something. And this is why they could easily, literally, while they're talking to his wife, call this man a vile man that no one can talk to him. Is a man, is a grown man, is a man for the Creator's sake, right? A man is not a title. He's a man. He makes decisions. He takes decisions. Right? And you are a servant He employed his employees, and you are saying no one can talk to him. Maybe because you've suggested one or two things and he's not considered it right, or because his wife is suggested one or two things and is not considered it right, then he's a vile man. So while we can see what is going on in this story, and this is the issue that I'm talking about, we can see the whole projection of encouraged criminality. Yeah, encouraged evil. Yeah, so this is exactly what it is. So don't get carried away. So just follow me in the journey. As I myself, I'm walking with the Most High, in reasoning with the Most High, and I urge you too to do the same. So this is what they're saying. And Abigail hasted and took 200 loaves and 2 vessels. So this is what this man's wife is doing, of wine, which I know is probably the possession of her husband, which is their possession. Without the man's knowledge, is taking these things, and 5 sheep ready dressed, and 5 ephahs of fine flour, and 1 omer of dried grapes, and 200 cakes of figs, and put them upon asses. And she said to her servants, well, now there's her and her servants conniving, doing things against the honor of their master, of her husband. And she said to her servants, go on before me, and behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband. And verse 20, and it came to pass, when she had mounted her horse and was going down by the covert of the mountain, behold, David and his men came down to meet her, and she met them. And David said, perhaps I have kept all his possessions in the wilderness, that he should wrong me. All right, he has wronged you. Noted. And we did not order the taking anything of all his goods, yet he has rewarded me evil for good. All right. Interesting. So according to the law, statutes, and commandments, and righteous judgments of the Most High, this man has rewarded you evil for good, for the main reason that you, who is not a poor man, and you are not of the category of a needy man, you are demanding from another wealthy man, and because he did not give you, then he's paid you evil for good. Where do we see that? In the law, statutes, commandments, and righteous judgments of the Most High. Please, brothers and sisters of good conscience, if you still keep it, because we all have it, if you want to make use of it, and of good brain, because we all have it, it's your choice to make use of it. Because whatever we sow, we reap. And that will make a well-informed decision. So tell me where in the law, statutes, commandments, and righteous judgment, the Most High, that this is correct, that this man is paying him evil for good, for his actions. So the Most High do to David, and more also, if I leave 1 meal of all that belonged to Nabal until the morning. So this is what he's telling this man's wife, this wealthy man's wife. And Abigail saw David, and she hasted and alighted from her ass, and she fell before David on her face. This man's wife falling before David, another man, on her face. So you want to tell me that when the Most High anointed David as king, he anointed him to be king and lord over another man's wife? Or when he anointed him as king, he anointed him to be king to oppress those whom he's supposed to watch over? So you basically figure that out yourself. But I already know what I know, and I'm telling you what I know. But, all right. And did obeisance to him, bowing to the ground. So she didn't just bow, she did obeisance to him by bowing to the ground, even to his feet, and said, on me, my Lord, be my wrong. So basically, this is why what she's doing now is why she was called, remember in the beginning I said take note, why she was called a woman of understanding, wise, very wise indeed. Interesting. Even to his feet, and said, on me, my Lord, be my wrong. So taking the blame upon herself. So a blame that was not there, she's taking it upon herself. In fact, without her husband knowing about what she's doing, all these things, because she represents her husband. She's his wife, and this is what she's doing. Let I pray thee, thy servant speak in exactly similar to the same story of Adam and Eve and what Eve was doing. That is what happens, and it keeps happening until those things are addressed. It will keep happening. Let, I pray thee, thy servant speak in thy ears, and hear thou the words of thy servant. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, take to heart this pestilent man, for according to his name, so is he. This is someone's wife, my creator. Nabal is his name, and fully is with him. But I, thy handmaid, saw not the servants of my Lord, whom thou didst send. This appears to me as a woman, clearly, being so sweet, to get the attention of the king. And we shall see. We shall see. Let's read further. But I, the handmaid, saw not the servants of my Lord, whom thou didst send. And now, my Lord, as the Lord lives, so as the Most High lives, according to Abigail, and thy soul lives, as the Most High lives, as the Most High has kept thee from coming against innocent blood. So it's now saying, as talking to David, as the Most High has kept him and his men because they were coming to war, or probably smite the entire family from coming against innocent blood and from executing vengeance for thyself. Vengeance for thyself? Vengeance upon another man's possession? Interesting. So this is the character that these stories are painting of a supposedly anointed king that the Most High anointed. So what are they saying about the Most High when they do these things? So you could see the whole mess, because when the wicked lay their hands on anything, they try to let it go according to their ways. They corrupt. So there's been corruption carried out, or it is really what it is. That means it's corrupt altogether. But from the whole genuine analysis of who the Most High is, what he requires, and these stories, we can see that there is a clear difference. So this is why I said, or I arrived at this, on this position, focus strictly on the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Definitely not on this. And from executing vengeance for thyself. Now therefore let thine enemies and those that seek evil against my Lord. So this is Abigail speaking, making utterances of good prayer over the king, good wishes in praise over the king, David. And he said, those that seek evil against him become as Nabal. So let them become as a husband. Interesting. And now, so this is a man, a husband is a man minding his business, running his things, and in his own empire, and being trespassed against by another. And the trespasser is now the person that is righteous, and the man who is just functioning as a man, minding his business, running his things, is now the wicked man. So tell me where that can be found in the law, statutes, commandments, and righteous judgment of the Most High. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And there's some things I begin to see that even when I saw it, that brought me to bring this, to this position, to bring this out. There are things that I didn't really see, but now as I'm reading, I'm seeing very clearly very terrible things that was being accounted for as righteousness. So evil being called good and good being called evil. That's what I can see here. Verse 27, and now accept this token of goodwill, which thy servant has brought to my Lord, and thou shalt give it to the servants that wait on my Lord. So note, the wife of Nabal is referring to David the king as our Lord. So she's bringing these things to him. Remove to pacify him. Remove, verse 28, I pray thee, the trespass of thy servant. So this is her husband has trespassed, apparently, according to her. So praying to the king to remove the trespass of her husband. For the Lord will surely, so which is the Most High, will surely make for my Lord, which is the king, a sure house. For the Most High fights the battles of my Lord, and there shall no evil be ever found in thee. Well, there is evil already done, not need to be found. It's found. It's just that you don't want to see it, and you can't see it because you're corrupt. You're corrupt just as he is. And if a man shall rise up persecuting thee and seeking thy life, yet shall the life of my Lord be bound up in the bundle of life with the Most High, the Creator. And thou shalt wow the life of thine enemies as in the midst of a sling. And it shall be when the Most High shall have wrought for my Lord all the good things he has spoken concerning thee, and shall appoint thee to be ruler over Israel. So, in fact, it looks like even though he's been anointed to be king, it's been acknowledged by Abigail, who was speaking now to him, that at this point in time, he was not on the throne. So, interesting. Very interesting. So, talking now about the future. He has spoken concerning thee, and I shall appoint thee to be ruler over Israel. Then thee shall not be an abomination, an offense to my Lord. So saying, you shouldn't stain your name, to have shed innocent blood without cause, and for my Lord to have avenged himself, and so may the Most High do good to my Lord, and thou shalt remember thy handmaid to do her good. So she's saying, well, and that you too, while I'm doing this, you should also remember me to do you good. Do me good when you are on the throne. You see this? So, like I spotted earlier, that she looked like a woman that definitely was seeking the attention of the King David. Interesting. Someone's wife. Very interesting. And this is what you condone. So many of you who would hear what I've just brought out today and think that no, you would rather embrace wickedness and continue to call good evil and evil good. The curse will come upon you from the Most High. The curse will come upon you from the Most High, that whatever you embrace and hold upon and refuse to let go, that wickedness, that act of calling evil good and good evil, is exactly what will be your portion and that of your household. Because only till then, you can only come to your senses, all of you, that is creating problems in this world, and know and identify problem for what it really is and stop creating it. And David said to Abigail, "Blessed be the Most High God of Israel, who sent thee this very day to meet me, and blessed be thy conduct, and blessed be thou, who hast hindered me this very day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself. But surely, as the Most High of Israel lives, who hindered me this day from doing thee harm, if thou hast not hasted and come to meet me, then I said, there shall surely not be left to Naboth till the morning one meal." So you could see even there. Brothers, genuine brothers, for the Most High, you need to seek to be the great man that the Most High has made you and called you to be, so that this will not be your portion. I'm telling you. And put things in check. Put your household in check. Put your wife in check, so that these don't be your portion. Because this is disgusting. This is terrible. This is what she has to say about her own husband. Interesting. And David took off her hand and all that she brought to him, and said to her, "Go in peace to the house." Of course, you will wish her peace. Of course. We'll find out later why. "See, I have hearkened to thy voice and accepted thy petition." And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he had a banquet in his house. And as the banquet of a king, and the heart of Nabal was merry within him, and he was very drunken. And she told him nothing great or small till the morning light. And it came to pass in the morning that Nabal recovered from his wine, and his wife told him these words, and his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. And it came to pass after about 10 days that the Most High smote Nabal, and he died. So you can see the whole nonsense. So now they've put in a bad name on the Most High, something that is not of the Most High, and it's a fact and truth based on the laws, his laws, statutes, and commandments, and righteous judgment. And said he killed a man, that they twisted things to call good evil and evil good, and if the Most High himself now have killed a man. So he is the one that have killed an innocent man. You can see the nonsense. You can see what this is really getting at, to create more narcissist and more psychopath. And David heard it and said, Blessed be the Most High, who has judged the cause of my reproach at the hand of Nabal, and has delivered his servant. What? But anyway, from the power of evil, and the Most High has returned the mischief of Nabal upon his own head. So interesting. And David sent. So you can see this is also the danger of when a man wakes up and claims that he has a religion, or he's been revealed, things has been revealed, the Most High has revealed to him, and expect you to follow him. And you see characters like this and behaviors like this, and you shut off your conscience, you shut off your brain. That is a no. You don't do that. And even the Most High himself requires us to use our conscience and our brain. This is why he called us to reason with him. And this is the problem. This is the widespread problem of religion today in the world we live in. What wicked and terrible, psychopathic, narcissist people have done and have been able to achieve using religion. And David sent and spoke concerning Abigail to take her to himself for a wife. So basically, the Most High smote Nabal, and David heard it and said, Blessed be the Most High, who had judged, because all them nonsense. And David sent and spoke concerning immediately Abigail to take her to himself for a wife. So the servants of David came to Abigail to Carmel, a place called Carmel, and spoke to her, saying, David has sent us to thee to take thee to himself for a wife. And she arose and did reverence with her face to the earth, and said, Behold, thy servant is for an handmaid to wash thy feet, the feet of thy servants, something I know she never could do or never did for her husband. And Abigail arose and mounted her ass, and 5 damsels followed her, and she went after the servants of David and became his wife. And David took Achinoam out of Jezreel, and they were both his wives. And Saul gave Michal, his daughter, David's wife, to Phalti, the son of Amish, who was of Ramah. You could see the terrible nonsense. And I'm here to tell you and announce to you that the righteous man, according to this story, in respect to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, was Nabal. The wicked man, according to this story, in respect to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, was David. And the foolish woman, according to this story, in respect to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, it was Abigail. A woman that lacks understanding and that is foolish and wicked and terribly corrupt. Yeah? And with this, I end to declare shalom to all man whose conscience and brains are functional. They have not deliberately shut it off, and they use it. They reason with the Most High and get their iniquities, their narcissist, their psychopathic wickedness washed away, so we can have sanity restored in this world again.